I've already gone over probably the most common problems in my previous videos, like out-of-tune notes and rushing and tempo issues. But in this video, I'm going to go over some specific things that I hear missed a lot with orchestras playing Beyond the Thunder. It's a popular contest piece, so I hear, especially middle school orchestras and non-varsity middle school orchestras, I hear them play this piece quite a bit. And most of the time, they do pretty well on it. There's just a couple of spots that we need to pay attention to and make sure that they're not messing it up. So the first spot where many orchestras miss is over here in the slow section. So in measure 50, they start playing on the A string here for second violins and violas, and they have C sharps. And just a few measures later, here in measure 53, they have C naturals now in second violins and violas, and they're not marked. There's no courtesy accidentals here for the naturals. So and there's no low second finger indicator here for the seconds and violas. So a lot of orchestras will miss this C natural. They're very likely to get the C sharps. Some of them don't always play it in tune. Some of them play it pretty flat. But a lot of orchestras miss these two C naturals here. So make sure they're playing low 2. It's a seventh chord here. That's the seventh of the chord. So you might not catch it. It might not be as easy to hear because the seventh is already a dissonant note. So if it's dissonant and out of tune, maybe they don't recognize it. But pay attention here because students tend to miss this quite a bit. I would go so far as to have your students write in the naturals or maybe even write in the low 2s just to remind them, because it is that easy to mess, and it's also easy to mark it in your parts. So have them write the naturals, have them write the low 2s, whatever it takes. All right, the next problem that we have specifically, we have a lot of rushing in Beyond the Thunder, but we have rushing a lot at 46. We've got this ritardando coming into 46. We've got a tempo change here. We drop a little bit, not too much, but the problem is we've got all this pizzicato here as we're coming into 46, and then pizzicato likes to rush anyway, and beginners like to rush, and younger orchestras like to rush. So you compile those two together, and you end up with a lot of rushing, and sometimes you can hardly tell that there is any kind of tempo change at all, or they have an accelerando here, and then we get up way beyond 120, and it's supposed to be beyond the thunder, not beyond the tempo indicator. So why do students rush with pizzicato? Well, it's because they're short notes, and short notes rush. That's the way it goes. Here in the program notes, it says that the pizzicato notes will provide the metronome. Well, yeah, maybe. When your students rush with pizzicatos, it's usually because they're skipping a step. And in the beginning books, we teach the students how to pluck. We anchor their thumbs to the edge of the fingerboard, and we have them pluck. That's not true pizzicato technique, okay? A pizzicato has a grab. We grab the string, we pull it back, and we release the string. It's a 3-step process. If they're skipping those steps, then they're not playing the correct pizzicato. So if you're having trouble with this and your students are rushing and you want to get them to slow down, have them come off the string, grab, pull, release, so you get them to control the quarter notes, and they let go when it's time to let go. And if you just have them kind of like pluck, well, there's really not a lot of accountability there, and you get them to come off the string, have them play flying pizzicato, and it's better tone anyway. You want them to start doing that eventually anyway, and it will help to keep the tempo under control. The more you come off the string, the longer it takes them to get back on the string, grab, pull, release, grab, pull, release. So if they're still rushing, have them do wider circles. Hey, here's a trick. If your students are playing too fast, slow it down even more, okay? So if they're having trouble playing at 108 and playing consistent beat, hey, slow it down to 70 and see what happens, okay? And then go through it at 70, maybe go through it even at 60, or let's play it really slow, okay? Get them to control the tempo. Okay, not the finger. The finger doesn't control the tempo, all right? They have to have that sense of pulse, grab, pull. In any cases where you're having trouble with tempo, if you throw in some unpredictability and you get them to start thinking, that can solve a lot of problems. Similarly to out-of-tune notes, if you have students intentionally play out of tune and slide back into the correct pitch, the assumption there is, oh, I'm out of tune, I need to slide back. Well, we need to create the same assumption with tempo. The assumption is I'm going too fast, so we slow the tempo down, we introduce some unpredictability, and it makes the students think and adjust. The next common problem that I hear in Beyond the Thunder is that there are no dynamics. The students are playing pretty good rhythms, and they're playing pretty much together and in tune, but there's not a lot of musicality. There's not a lot of dynamics. Okay, at the beginning, are they really playing piano with the cellos and basses? And granted, there are only 2 sections playing. That's going to make the orchestra sound softer anyway. With the entrance of the violas, that's sort of an orchestral dynamic increase. We're adding an instrument, so everybody's going to get louder as a result of that. And then we crescendo, and second violins come in, first violins come in. It's kind of an orchestral crescendo here also. But if your students are playing too loud, well, have your students play extra loud. Have your students play fortissimo at the beginning, and then drop them down to forte. Play it again. Okay, drop them down to mezzo forte. Play it again. Mezzo piano, play it again. Piano, play it again. Okay, that's piano, right? And so you could do the same thing here in the forte section. Okay, it's not loud enough. Well, usually, especially in the case of beginners, that's not your issue. The issue is on the softer side. But if they're having trouble playing loud, and really gripping the string, well, have them start playing piano, and then increase mezzo piano. Okay, do it again. Mezzo forte, do it again. Forte. Okay, here it is. A lot of times, on the whole notes, the students are having trouble getting that forte sound with the whole notes. And so why is that? Is it because the bows are sliding? They're not able to keep their bows straight? If their bows aren't straight, they're not going to sound very loud. Or are they out of tune? If they're out of tune, they're not going to sound very loud. So can you get them to grip the string, develop that friction, resist the string so that they're using straight bows, and then they can play loud with a whole note. In the teaching companion, I address dynamics here, and I make sure that they can play from piano all the way up to forte using these rhythms. And I also address a little bit of the style where make sure that they're playing the staccato on the and a 1 and on the and a 3, which a lot of orchestras don't do. These should be brush strokes. Watch my video on bow distribution, and there's some strategies on how to do that. Also, I hear a lot of orchestras that don't play accents. So how do they accent these notes? How do they make these notes pop? Can they grip the string? Can they bend the string with the bow hair? Can they bend the bow hair and change the shape of the camber of the bow? Well, if they can do that, then they're likely to be able to play the accents, and that's just something extra, a little extra detail that really makes an orchestra sound great. When we're playing whole notes or we're playing eighth notes, whatever the rhythms are going to be, do we have students who are stuck at the frog? Do we have students that are stuck in the upper half of the bow and they can't seem to get back down? That's going to affect the dynamics too. Just making sure that they've got enough flexibility in the wrist to be able to get to where they need to in the bow, and they've got a good understanding of bow hand, bow hold, so that they're not tensing anything up, curved pinkies, curved thumbs. One of the reasons why I make these teaching companions is because I like to have the students practice these techniques together homogeneously. Everybody's doing the same thing. I don't want anybody to get left out. I want everybody to learn at the same time, and I want everybody in my class to be engaged and participating. Sometimes the way pieces are written, some people are playing legato and some people are playing staccato, and what I would like to do is have everybody learn the staccato at the same time, everybody learn the legato at the same time. It's more of an efficient way to teach, and it keeps my students from getting into trouble. So I hope you enjoyed my take on Beyond the Thunder. If you have anything that I left out, and trust me, I leave a lot of stuff out, please go ahead and drop your comments in the comment section below. Hey, this has been a problem before, this is how I fixed it, or this has been a problem before, I have no idea how to fix it, can I get some help? And we'll help you. So hope you enjoyed my take on Beyond the Thunder, and we'll see you next time.